Here we go. What's up, everybody? I'm Jonathan Sewell Sales at Mitchell Mazda on the way to the Boulevard. And this morning I'm driving a 2023 Mazda CX-50. And this is the first time that I've had lengthy opportunities to drive this car. Usually it's just around the Boulevard, around the block. But this one I've been driving now for a couple of days and wanted to share with you my insights or comparisons to other Mazda crossovers. More garbage! Now let me get started by saying that this car is exactly as it was billed to be, and exactly as it was built to be. So build, B-I-L-L-E-D, as an off-road rugged crossover, unlike any Mazda crossover that we've had before, and definitely any that we currently have in the lineup. Of course, we know this is on the same platform as the CX-30, and if you recall, just a few months ago, I shared a similar video like this about the CX-30 on how it was one of the best driving because of the fact that it was a little lighter weight, and that powertrain of that 2.5 naturally aspirated 6-speed transmission just made it really zoom. And I really enjoyed the CX-30 more than the CX-5. And that says a lot because I love to drive the CX-5. And so I've been driving this vehicle now for 3 days, and previously been driving a lot of CX-5s, specifically the carbon editions with the 19-inch wheels. And so this one, I would say out of the three, you have CX-30, CX-5, and then this one. Am I saying that it's not a comfortable ride? Absolutely not. This one's exactly what you would expect. It's on that new platform. The wheels are pushed out wider, so you can feel the road more. You can feel it grabbing. It's a little bit of a longer wheelbase. And of course, this one is the Premium Plus, so it has the naturally aspirated Premium Plus. So it's got 20-inch wheels, which you can feel the road with those wheels. And although these vehicles, the CX-5 and CX-50 specifically, are about the same width, the different position, and I couldn't find any track measurements, nor have I gotten them myself on the CX-50, but I believe the track or width of the wheels is a little bit wider on this vehicle, so you can kind of feel that. And what that equates to on these Alabama county roads is a little bit more road noise and a little bit more feeling of the bumps. So you do feel more of rough roads, more of uneven terrain. It's a little bit stiffer, but again, as this vehicle was designed to be more recreational, more outdoors, more off-road or off-pavement, as Mazda refers to it, this is exactly what I would want. I would want to be able to feel the different terrains so I know where I'm at. I would definitely want to be able to hear and enjoy the sounds more so. And that's what the CX-50 gives you. Now, as far as the powertrain, this is that same 2.5 liter that the 30 and the CX-5 have. However, I have noticed, and same transmission, I have noticed, and I feel that my foot is pretty much trained on my way to work and around as far as how much I'm going to press the throttle. But I feel like in some uphill notifications or situations that this car seems to jump into overdrive in situations around that 40 to 45 miles per hour that the CX-5 and CX-30 don't. And so I don't know if this was tuned a little bit differently as far as the programming of the transmission, or this vehicle has 6,000 miles on it, so maybe the previous driver and my habits have changed the computer a little bit from what I'm accustomed to. But I have noticed that, and it's not been frustrating, but just been something that I've noticed. For that reason, I would 100%, if I was looking to purchase this vehicle, I would buy the turbo, even though this vehicle actually weighs less than the CX-5 Carbon Edition specifically, which I've been driving recently. They're both within 100 pounds of each other. However, if I was going to buy the CX-50, I would buy the Turbo Edition. you know, one of those 4 models of turbos. Reason being that I would appreciate the 3,500 pound towing that comes only with the turbo, and I feel that the turbo is appropriately tuned and powered for this vehicle. Again, it really has nothing to do with weight because they're about the same. It may have something to do with those wider wheels, maybe perhaps a little wider tire in those 20-inch wheels, but I would lean towards the turbo. Is there a problem with this naturally aspirated engine? Absolutely not. It's perfect. I just personally would prefer the turbo or any of the turbo trims. Now let's talk interior. So the interior space, obviously this is a wider feeling, a wider seat feeling than the CX-5, and definitely more volume than the CX-30. However, I do feel, and I don't know if you can tell on camera, but I feel, and of course this seat has a height adjustment, but from what I was positioned and comfortably, you know, as far as visibility position, I just feel like I'm sitting high in this vehicle, not relative to the road, but more just in the car. And of course that has to do with the design of this vehicle, how it was lower height, overall height than the CX-5, and also the windows are shorter, just like on the CX-30, has to do with that similar platform. But it just, and here comes some rain, so it might get a little loud. I've got the pano roof open, so it's a little bit more light in here. But it is a little, you know, I just feel like I'm a little high. Is that a bad thing? No, because my visibility is perfect. So if I was off pavement or off road, I would want to be able to see right down the hood and see all around me, so I could see where I'm going and what's coming, and I can do that in this vehicle. I just feel like I'm sitting, you know, really with this kind of right at my eye line. But it's not right at my eye line. It just kind of feels like that. And of course, if you can tell, I do have plenty of room, even with the shade shut. I still have plenty of room. It just feels like I'm sitting higher. And that's, like I said, mostly has to do with the overall design of the platform with shorter windows. I will say that in this vehicle and the CX-30, depending on where you go for fast food or drive-through access, it's sometimes a tight fit with you know, a large sweet tea from Chick-fil-A. But you know, it's still definitely doable. Since I've only driven this a handful of days, I haven't had the whole Sewell bus in here, the whole clan of kids, but the ones that have ridden in here with me feel like they have more than adequate room. I haven't quizzed them on it, but they do feel like there's plenty of room, and perhaps, you know, definitely just from me looking, a little bit more room in the back seat than the CX-5. So overall, I would rate the interior good. And again, it's no problem that I feel like I'm sitting high. I could lower my seat a little more, but I like the visibility, and I think it's something that works well. The last thing to mention are some of this platform's updates and alerts. Now, I do drive CX-5s and I've driven CX-9s a lot longer over these last 4 years or so than the CX-30 and of course the CX-50. This is my first extended time in a CX-50, and so my driving habits, you know, I kind of, you know, don't put a lot of pressure or grip on the steering wheel. I just kind of have a relaxed feel on the steering wheel. Of course, usually hold somewhere in the 9 and 3, or even slide down a little bit lower on the wheel. And so it's system sometimes I've noticed, and maybe it's just in the morning as I'm waking up, I don't know, on the way, but I've received a lot more alerts to make sure that I have my hands on the steering wheel. Also receive a lot more alerts of lane departure, and I think that I'm just really getting accustomed to the little bit of wider feel. And the 20-inch tires seem to grip really well, as you'd expect. and so sometimes I am favoring closer to the shoulder of the road because of the slope of the road than I typically would drive. And so I've been getting some lane departure notifications and a lot of those hands on the steering wheel notifications, which can be a little bit bothersome, but if it was that bothersome, I could just turn it off. So to recap on my experience in the CX-50, of course, if you're looking for an off-payment, off-road, recreational feeling, rugged feeling crossover, the CX-50 is definitely the one for you. If you are wanting to experience more of the road feel, more of the tight steering, and I didn't mention this before, but no body roll, right? It's very, because it's a little bit wider feeling, I haven't experienced any body roll in any turn, so it's fantastic. The interior definitely has a lot more room, a wider seat. Now the seating is more firm than the CX-5, but that's kind of what you expect as like I said before, what it was billed as, a more rugged vehicle, and the seats are a little more firm and wider for that reason. And then also the alerts, or the new technology, just takes some getting used to if you're coming from a CX-5 or CX-9, but it is updated. I didn't mention that I do love the wireless, that's right, wireless Apple CarPlay, and all the 7th gen stuff, the big full instrument cluster here, you know, that you can toggle back and forth between a digital speedometer or not. Of course, I have the active driving display in this Premium Plus, so it's very nice, very nice. There's one thing that I would say that I do not like about the CX-50, and it's on the naturally aspirated that we cannot get terracotta. The black is beautiful, but I'm always been a beige, white, terra kind of person. Nothing wrong with black. It's good, especially in a recreational off-road or off-pavement vehicle. It doesn't show a lot of dirt, and that's a great benefit, but I think we should still have the option to go with the terracotta or maybe some other interior colors in the future. That's all I have on this one. Enjoying and loving the CX-50. Would not hesitate to drive this more long-term, on the highway, off the highway, wink wink, or whatever the situation may be, and I think that you would enjoy it as well. If you have any additional questions or comments on the CX-50, you can text me at 334-718-0504, and of course comment down below if you have a CX-50 and what your thoughts are on the drive, and I'll see you on the next one. Here we go.